meets mind, we ponder, we dream. Pixels and philosophies.
One of the things that I've always tried to do throughout my life is to assist humans in being better, to try and be better people. And technology is one of those things that we've invented to try and reduce our burdens, to make life easier for us. This is why we invented technology. This is why we have technology. If it wasn't for technology, then we'd be a little further back. So it makes me sad to see how much technology is being used to make our lot in life worse as opposed to making our lot in life better. I mean, the reason why technology was invented was to improve our lives. And when I see technology being used to make our lives worse, I don't like that. I don't like that. That's not the reason why we invented it. We invented it to make our lives better. And a lot of times we're not using it to make our lives better. In fact, a lot of companies are not using AI, are using technology to make our lives better. They're using it to make our lives worse. They're using it to make a ton load of money. They make a crap load of money with it, but are they making our lives better? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Because if you think about social media is amazing. It's a fantastic tool. There's so much you can do with it. It connects people who've never been able to connect before. It keeps them together. It keeps them focused. It keeps them part of their tribe. But at the same time, it also creates addictions and forces them to disconnect from people. Technology is a tool. It's a double-edged sword. It can be used in different ways. And when I see it being used to the detriment of humanity, it makes me sad. Because that's not the reason why we invented it. And that's one of the things I really love about generative AI, is that generative AI is so accessible. Because if you think about it, technology, a lot of times, especially prior to generative AI, technology was a bit of a reach for a lot of people. You know, unless you were a techie, it was hard to figure it out. Have you ever tried, like, for example, my example I like to give are these smart light bulbs. You ever tried these smart light bulbs? You ever tried installing these smart light bulbs? They're wireless. They connect to your wireless network. I had one of these smart light bulbs. I had one of these smart light bulbs in my office, and I would use my Alexa to try and connect to these smart light bulbs. And, you know, my network went out, or when I had a power failure or whatever, it took forever to reconnect it, reconfigure it, get it connected. You already had to be kind of a techie to figure it out. So technology has always had that bit of a disconnect from regular human people. You had to be a bit of a techie or a bit of a wizard, like a wizard of class, and knew how to design technology, knew how to work with technology. And that's one of the things that I think is amazing about generative AI, is that the interface is chat. And you're probably saying to yourself, well, what's so amazing about that, Chris? What's so fantastic about chat? Well, chat is what we're doing right now. Chat, communication, conversation is the natural way human beings connect with each other. Way we communicate with each other. We communicate with each other through conversation. That's what's so amazingly wonderful about generative AI, is that the interface that they chose, I don't know if they chose this on purpose or they chose it because it was expedient. The interface that was chosen was the one the human beings are most likely to use when they're communicating to other human beings. So when we communicate to our generative AI, we're communicating to an incredibly accessible technology. There is so much power behind that hood, but we don't see any of it. We only see the tiniest little amount, which is relevant to exactly what we asked for. Now, of course, generative AI it's not 100% perfect. There's plenty of times when you have to wrangle it. I have to wrangle it a lot when I'm asking it to do something, especially when I'm doing AI Daily US. And every morning I try to get it to write a summary, and sometimes it writes the summary correctly, and sometimes it writes a summary incorrectly. But most of the time it works really well. And it works really well in such a way that you don't have to be a super technical person to use it. And that's where the power lies. We have this amazingly powerful database of every piece of human content ever created, or most pieces of human content, as much human content as can be generated and used by these devices, accessible with this simple chatbot. And you can ask it about almost anything, and it can help you with almost anything. And some people are looking at this and going, this is horrible, this is awful, this is the worst possible thing that can happen. Can you imagine how many people's jobs will be lost? Can you imagine how many people will be using this instead of using humans to create writing, to create images? But then if you think about it on the flip side, how much more can you do? How much more can you create? These little ideas, these nuggets that you have invented in your brain that you couldn't get out before, you can now use generative AI to make real. And sure, that's going to probably create a lot of and put out a lot of crap. But at the same time, a lot of incredibly creative people with incredibly amazing ideas will be able to make those ideas a reality and get those ideas out into the world. Now, with any luck, they'll actually be able to defeat this attention economy that we're stuck in, and their work will be available and visible to the world. Let's hope that we can figure some way to make it easier for that to happen. That's it for me today. See you next time, and until then, don't forget to think future.
Pixels and philosophies merge and mold, a future untold, unseen.